Good morning, friends. It's Miss Patty from Samuel's Public Library, and I have a story time for you this week, and it's about the garden. So I bet many of you are working on a garden. Maybe you have some flowers you've helped plant. Maybe you're planting bean seeds and tomatoes, and you watch it grow. So I have a friend here with me. You might recognize him from the play area, but this is Mr. Did you say caterpillar? I knew you knew that. And the thing that's amazing about caterpillars is they love to eat and eat and eat. And then, you know what they do? They turn into, any guesses? I know you know this. Yes, they turn into beautiful butterflies. Yes, pretty amazing. And that is a big word called metamorphosis. Can you say that? Metamorphosis? Excellent. All right, we're going to put butterfly down. There we go. And my first garden story for you is about a little boy, but the story is by Tomek Bogaki, and it's called My First Garden, and it's about a grandpa who is telling the story of when he was a little boy in Poland, which is across the ocean. So a long time ago. And this is a picture of his house. He went back to visit it years later. Yes, in Poland, my first garden. The train was moving slowly through the green countryside. A town in the distance made me think of the town where I was born. It lay in a wide river valley surrounded by rolling hills. With its red-roofed houses, it always reminded me of a big bed of flowers. Yeah, do you see the train? And there's the village. Yeah. I remembered when I was a boy waiting at the train station for my father on his bicycle. That is very interesting. There's his house. The house I lived in was at the edge of town on the bank of the river. From the window of my room, I could see the entire town. There it is. With its maze of narrow streets and rows of houses. The house was big and the town was small. That's what everyone said. But to me, it seemed the other way around. My mother always put fresh flowers on the dining room table. And my brother played the piano every afternoon. He was practicing for his first concert. I know that some of you practice the piano as well. My sister liked to listen to him play. There she is with her doll baby. I liked to visit my grandfather in his study. The attic was my favorite place. I spent hours there reading, drawing, and daydreaming. The kitchen was often filled with the smell of freshly baked apple pie. Is there anything better than the smell of warm apple pie? I kept some of my toys in the attic. There. The pantry was our best hiding place. The cellar was the place we didn't like to go alone. Sometimes cellars are dark and a little scary, huh? We lived on the top floor of the house. I knew every corner in it Its stairways, rooms, alcoves, and hallways, all its secret hideouts from the cellar to the attic. But I knew only a few of the streets in my town. The school was just around the corner from my house. I could buy ice cream or pastries in the small bakery on my way home from school. That's pretty fun. And I like to stop and look at the colorful book covers in the window of the bookstore. Yeah. Stop that noise, called Mrs. Nowowski. Take your game somewhere else, Mrs. Lewandowski screamed at us. Kind of grumpy, huh? After school, I spent most of the time with the other children who lived in our house. We liked to play in the cobblestone courtyard behind the house, but we always made too much noise or messed up the laundry drying on the clothesline or somehow threw a ball right into someone's window. Oops. We often wish the cobblestone yard was just for us. See that? Where they're playing down there? Right there. Sometimes we grew tired of all the games that we knew. We'd play them over and over, and we didn't know what else to do. Does that happen to you sometimes? Have trouble thinking of something new to do? Yeah. Then one day, I got a bike. It belonged to my older brother, but now it was mine. That's pretty exciting. I loved my bike. Church Street was uphill, narrow street was downhill. I discovered new streets every day, exploring on his bicycle. I rode my new old bike everywhere. The town seemed to get smaller and smaller the farther I went. Every Friday, I would ride to the train station to meet my father coming back from the big city where he worked. There he is, waiting for his daddy. I rode my bike to school, even though it was just around the corner. Sliding down the banister was almost always fun. Oops, they got caught. I guess that's not allowed. In school, I liked biology, geography, and perhaps best of all, my drawing class, but I couldn't wait to get back on my bike. So he did become a very good drawer, didn't he? Because all these pictures he drew. One day after school, I rode on my bike out of town. The road stretched before me, looking exactly like the perspective we had learned in our drawing class. I came into a grassy meadow filled with wildflowers. I liked them so much better than the cobblestones of our courtyard. Isn't that pretty? All the flowers. I brought a big bouquet of wildflowers home. My grandfather helped me put them in a vase in our dining room. Do you think we could have flowers in our yard? I asked. Oh, yes, he said. There was once a beautiful garden here around the well a long time ago when I was a boy like you. I wondered, were there any seeds left From my grandfather's garden, I watered the stones, hoping that something would grow there again. My grandparents going for their afternoon walk, and there he is riding his bike round and round and round. I took my bike and went for a ride. I did every day. As I rode my bike, I thought about the garden that had once grown in our yard, and I imagined the courtyard filled with flowers again. Suddenly, I realized that I was on a road I'd never been on before. I passed many fences and gates. The houses were fewer and fewer. I wasn't sure where I was. I stopped in front of an open gate. I got off my bike and I went in, and I found myself in a beautiful garden. "Do you like flowers?" I heard a voice behind me. I turned and saw a lady in a big straw hat holding a watering can. "Every flower in my garden has its own story," she said. "And you know, a long time ago, there were just cobblestones here," she added with a smile. The afternoon went by quickly as we walked around this magical place. When I got home, it was almost dark. There was no one in the yard. I opened the tool shed. Everything I needed was there, so I began to work. There he is, thinking and dreaming about making a garden. I brought sticks to build a fence. I removed stone after stone from the ground. "What is he doing?" they asked. I got flower seedlings at the market. I watered them every day. "What is he doing?" As the days passed by, I watched for any weeds growing. One day I saw the first tiny flowers. At last, the garden was in full bloom. Isn't that beautiful? It's amazing what you can do with a little bit of effort. Everyone liked the garden and wanted to help. Now we could play in our courtyard as much as we wanted. No one seemed to mind anymore. All the children playing. Even Mrs. Lewandowska and Mrs. Nowandowska sat for hours on a little bench in front of the garden talking. So the flowers brought a lot of happiness to everybody, right? The train stopped at a very small station at the edge of the forest. Through the window, I could see my son waiting for me beside the train tracks as I used to wait for my father. See? On our way home, we talked about my son's first garden, the one he was making himself. There's a pretty garden, isn't it? The train moved slowly through the green countryside. There's their house and their garden, and there goes the train. Do you know, children, that in our town near Easton Park, some wonderful people have been busy working on a community garden. They're calling it the Victory Garden. I think that's wonderful. So maybe next time you go to Easton Park, you can look and you'll see the garden growing. And maybe if you ask for a package of seeds, you could grow something at home. Yeah. So I wanted to show you my craft this week since we're talking about gardening. So this is something that you can do, and it's in honor of two people that come to my story time. And you can do this too. If you get a piece of paper, and then you go outdoors and collect little things, you can make your own name out of things from nature that you collect. So this says Max. This is for my friend Max, who comes to story time. And I hope you all enjoy making something special with your name. You just need paper, glue, and whatever treasures you find. You know, I was hoping for a bird feather, and I didn't find it yet, but if I find it, I will glue it on here too. And then I have another one. You can just even do just twigs, but I couldn't resist putting some flowers on. And this is for my friend, Ellie. Ellie, I hope you can see the letters for your name. And I couldn't resist putting some flowers to decorate. So that's something you can do if you're learning your letters for your name. You can get sticks and little branches and things and glue it on, and then find treasures to decorate it with. And then lastly, I have this craft that takes a little more time, but for those of you that are a little older, or if you can get help from a grown-up, this is a nature weaving. And what I did is I tied these sticks together in a rectangle, and then I just used string and went up and down, and then some across. And then you just use it like to frame a nature picture with things that you collect. And maybe you recognize some of these flowers and clover and some berries and rosebuds from our garden. And oops, my tired little dandelion. Yep. So that's a fun thing you can do, and just put all kinds of treasures, and then you can save it. And then when the treasures look tired, then you can take them off and start all over again. So I hope this gives you some ideas of fun things to do. So I have one more story for you called Seed Magic. It is kind of magical to plant seeds and things grow, but there's also something else that seeds can do. Let's find out. This story is by Jane Buchan. Seed Magic. The illustrations by Charlotte Riley Webb are fantastic and colorful. I think you'll like it. Crazy old Birdman feeding the pigeons, sitting in his wheelchair, feeding the pigeons, smiling and laughing. It looks like they're in the park and the children are playing, and he's feeding the birds. What you doing, Birdman? Brother Toby, laughing, dancing around Birdman. Birdman just smiles. Crazy old Birdman, birds on your shoulders, birds on your head. You crazy, Birdman, Brother Natty says. Rose says, "Why you like pigeons so much, Birdman?" "Why you don't?" Birdman asks back. "Look at 'em, beautiful." Rose looks, but she sees only pigeons. "Dirty gray pigeons, like this dirty gray city." "Birds not beautiful," Rose says. "Gardens are beautiful." She closes her eyes. Blue lupine, red geraniums, yellow sunflowers, like in her library books. All these different colors. Maybe you have a favorite flower. Birdman winks. He reaches into his sack. "Make like a bowl," he says, and Rose does. She cups her hands for him. Birdman sprinkles a stream of seeds, black as tar, slick as oil, into her hands. Maybe they're sunflower seeds, I'm guessing. "Put 'em outside your window," Birdman says. "You grow you a garden." "Can't grow no garden there," Rose says. "Can with these seeds." "These seeds magic seeds?" Rose asks. "Jack and the beanstalk seeds?" Birdman laughs. Magic all right. All the way home, Rose doesn't drop a one. "You're crazy as Birdman," Toby says. "Rose the bird girl," Natty says. They laugh and laugh. Rose takes those seeds and puts them on the sill. Do you see that right there? Her brothers laugh some more, but Rose doesn't care. "You got no dirt," Toby says. "You got no water," Natty says. "You can't grow nothing on a windowsill." Rose doesn't listen. Magic seeds grow anywhere. Rose watches and she waits and she dreams. She dreams of blue lupine and red geraniums and yellow sunflowers. Nothing. Then one day, who came? Aren't they beautiful? Blue as lupine, red as geraniums, yellow as sunflower. All these beautiful birds, beautiful colors. And they are singing. They all have their own song, don't they? "A garden," Rose says, "a singing garden. So alive with beautiful feathers and singing." Birdman knew, didn't he? Sitting in his wheelchair, Birdman smiles. He laughs. Beautiful. Isn't that wonderful? Birdman, even though he was in his wheelchair, he found a way to make his world and others' world better. Being kind and sharing. And I know you can do that today too with your family or friends. Yeah, we're going to make this world better wherever we can. And gardens are one way to do it. They're so fun. So, little butterfly, you look for little butterflies and maybe you can start learning their names like monarch and swallowtail. There's so many. And maybe you can start learning the names of flowers. Yeah, there's so many, just like in the stories we read. So, thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon.